We've all seen those video titles and those video hooks that promise fantastically magic products and secret formulas that promise to grow your hair super fast in a very ridiculous amount of time. Things like 5 inches in 1 week or 2 inches overnight. Weird stuff like that. What's so painful about it is that so many people fall for things like this. But then again, if you think about it deeply, it's hard not to. Because who doesn't want to grow waist length hair in the space of a month? I know I do. The difference is that I know that is highly unlikely. In fact, it is very impossible. But a lot of people don't know that, and I wish more people knew that about hair growth. I wish more people understood the science, the facts about hair growth, so that they'll be able to pick apart things that are real and things that are just absolute scams on the internet, especially TikTok and Facebook. Even here on YouTube self, the misinformation is just flowing around anyhow. And that's why today in this video, I want to prove to you that overnight hair growth is not a thing. But don't worry, don't lose hope, because I'm also going to be sharing the things that you should be doing if your goal is to grow longer and healthier hair this year. So without further ado, I have my notes ready and I'm going to get to the bottom of this in this video. All I need you to do is stick with me, listen properly, and just get it, because I'm going to explain it so deeply this video might just enter 20 minutes. So the first thing I want to explain is the science behind hair growth and the factors that affect it. I need you to understand that your hair grows in a cycle. There's this thing called the hair growth cycle, and it has 3 stages. So the first stage, which is the anagen stage, is where your hair is actively growing, okay? And then there's the catagen stage where the hair growth begins to slow down. And then there's the telogen stage where the hair growth completely stops. This is where the follicle shrinks and the hair starts to get like weaker and then it falls out. That is how we shed hair. You know how we always say that shedding is natural. You shed about 100 to 200 hairs every single day. It's a natural thing. Those hairs are the ones that have reached the end of their growth cycle. And so when those hairs fall out, then the cycle starts again at anagen and new hairs grow from those follicles that just lost hair. So it's a cycle. It's a thing that goes around and around. It's a process. It is as natural as your heart beating, as your lungs drawing in air. It's just a normal process. It's just a bodily process. It's something that just happens. It's not something that you can influence by eating some gummies or rubbing rosemary oil, okay? It's something that just naturally happens. Now, what affects how long your hair can actually grow? 2 things. Number 1 is your natural hair growth rate. The average hair growth rate for people, just the average hair growth rate is about ½ an inch per month. I'm sure you've probably heard this somewhere, somehow, okay? So the range is ½ an inch to 1 inch, but the average, like most people, fall around that ½ an inch area, right? Now, let's go with ½ an inch per month, right? That means that in a year, you are able to grow ½ an inch times 12, which is 6 inches of hair every single year. Now, do you remember the anagen stage that we talked about earlier, where your hair is actively growing? Now, that doesn't last forever. It's just a stage in the cycle. And the anagen stage can last anywhere from 2 years to 6 years. And so if we're not thinking about it, that means that if you get the short end of the stick and your anagen stage only lasts for 2 years, then you are still able to grow about 12 inches of hair. Now, if you get the longer end of the stick and your anagen stage lasts up to 6 years, then that is 6 inches per year times 6 years, and you're able to grow up to 36 inches of hair. That is amazing. So any given person on this earth is able to grow somewhere between 12 inches of hair to 36 inches of hair. Then if we take the other extreme, which is if you are able to grow up to 1 inch of hair in a month, it's unlikely for most people, but it is actually very possible, because people are different. The genetics are different for different people, right? So if you're able to grow up to 1 inch of hair in a month, then that would be 12 inches of hair in a year. Now, if we do the same mathematics, somebody whose anagen stage lasts for just 2 years will be able to grow 24 inches of hair, while somebody who is able to grow an inch of hair every month and their anagen stage lasts for 6 years, aka God's favorite, those people will be able to grow 12 times 6. That's 72 inches of hair in their lifetime. That's crazy. I can't even imagine 72 inches of hair. How long is that? That's like to the ground. That's crazy. Anyway, we can all see that it is very heavily influenced by genetics, right? And it's not just genetics as well. There are other factors that affect your hair growth and also even your hair density. Now, hair density is one topic that the misinformation is just flowing and is running rampant, right? When you are born with a set number of follicles on your head. It cannot increase. You cannot manufacture new follicles. Unless you have a hair transplant, you cannot, there's nothing really that manufactures new follicles on your head, okay? I just wanted to put that out there. So if you are blessed, right, and you just have high density hair genetically, you really have no right to just come on here and be saying, oh, this is how I do my hair thick. Your hair has always been thick. I think I debunked that in the first episode of Olamide React. There's this content creator, she's on YouTube, she's on TikTok. She has always had thick hair. I proved it in the video. I checked some of her older, like 5 years ago videos, and her hair was thick. And then she's coming now 5 years later to say, this is how I do my hair thick. Your hair has been thick. You have naturally high density hair, okay? You did not make your hair thick. It has always been thick. That is also the same way some people just have naturally low density hair. There's this YouTuber, I think her YouTube handle is Star Puppy or something like that. She has naturally low density hair. She has been a hair care creator for a very long time, but you don't see her, like, her hair didn't get thicker out of nowhere, okay? If you have low density hair, you have low density hair. If you have high density hair, you have high density hair. If you didn't dare, you didn't dare. That's one place that I know that there's a lot of misinformation running around and a lot of people fall for it. Let me just tell you, it's either you have high density hair or you have low density hair. Some people have medium density, although I really don't know what that looks like. But the most common, the most easy hair densities to spot are high density and low density. You get what I mean? So yeah, when it comes to density, right, things like health, things like stress, they can really play a role there, and they mostly affect density, not hair growth per se, right? Because hair loss is a very major symptom for a lot of big issues, right? And that's one of the reasons why anytime I see people say, if you are suffering from extreme hair loss, just mix clove and rosemary, like, it makes me so angry, because all of a sudden you started losing a lot of hair and you are mixing potions instead of you to go to the doctor. Hair loss can be a symptom of autoimmune diseases, it can be a symptom of diabetes, it can be a symptom of like really serious illnesses. So if out of nowhere you start losing more hair than usual, my dear, go to the hospital. Now is not the time to be mixing rosemary and cloves. That's just one of the things that really annoys me about the misinformation concerning hair density, because people can be missing out on very important diagnoses. Like, hair is one of the first things that starts to fall out when trouble is brewing. And if you go and see a doctor and you catch whatever is going wrong on time, it can literally save your life. But no, you're over there in your kitchen mixing clove and rosemary. If you are trying to grow longer, healthier hair, you need to watch out for some of these things. There are things that are out of your control, like your natural hair growth rate and the length of your anagen stage and all of that. Sometimes your health can be out of your control. I mean, autoimmune disease, what are you going to do about that? But for the most part, for most people, right, there are things that you can do to, keep yourself healthy. You exercise, you eat healthy, whatever that means to you. Really try to stay on top of your health and your diet. And then there's also the case of stress. And I know I can't come and just sit here and tell you just manage your stress or stop stressing, because we are in really stressful times, okay? But in the midst of the stress, right, if you can find just little joys in the day, just find one thing that you love that can take your mind off things, that you can do for 15 minutes a day or something, and something to calm you down. Those are the major factors, right, that really deal with hair growth. Now, I know I've mentioned, DIY already in this video, talking about clove and rosemary and things, and I know that a lot of people will be tempted to, run to the comments and stand for their DIY practices. And I'm just here to say that I don't think DIY is bad per se. DIY is not something like that is dangerous. Like, it's one of the earliest forms of hair care. We can't fault it. Herbs have their place, right? Amla strengthens the hair and it conditions the hair. Clove is antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and it adds shine to the hair. Rosemary is a superstar for scalp health. But you see how none of this says hair growth. They don't like reach into your scalp and start making your hair grow faster. They don't do none of that, okay? There was the whole rice water fad where people were bathing themselves in rice water in hopes that their hair will grow faster. And that just never made sense to me, because even your body, when you eat rice, right, your body needs its entire digestive system to break down the rice and remove all the nutrients and everything that it needs from the rice. Your hair has no ability whatsoever to extract or derive anything. At most, your hair is going to drink the water in the rice water and then the rest is just going to be sitting on top of your hair. And seeing as rice water is mostly starch, then you are basically just starching your hair. And I get it, that can feel like your hair has been strengthened, because I mean, we've all seen a starch shirt before. It does look strengthened now, doesn't it? These DIY ingredients, these DIY herbs, these DIY mixes, they have their function, but it's just not hair growth. It is not hair density. It's none of that. Like I said, amla, it strengthens the hair and it conditions the hair, and these things help with length retention, but it doesn't make your hair grow any faster. It's not something that will just touch your scalp and your scalp will say, hey, Isheya, Isheya, yeah, Isheya, and then hair just starts to sprout. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, a lot of these herbs, they stimulate, they create a positive environment, they balance pH, they do all these little things that assist your natural hair growth, or optimize your natural hair growth, because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do to speed up your hair growth, but there are things that can slow it down. Like if your scalp is very dirty, your hair follicles can get clogged, and then they cannot see space to do the work that they are meant to do. If you are normally supposed to grow half an inch of hair in a month, you end up growing less because your follicles were clogged, or you had inflammation of your scalp, or maybe that month you were not eating your best, and so there were no nutrients to even assist with hair growth and all of this. Like all those little things, maybe in the entire month you were very senile, you didn't move enough, so there wasn't a lot of blood circulation, and then all those little things can affect, right? But just rubbing clove or spraying rosemary water is not going to fix any of that. That is what I want to point out. DIY is not the enemy, but it is also not the savior. I need you to shift your mindset. None of their benefits includes fast hair growth. All of you that are believing that, oh, that rosemary water that you're spraying in your hair is making your hair grow faster. It's not. It's just hydrating your hair and optimizing your scalp. The sooner you understand this, the better it will be for you, and the better your chances at actually seeing results. Speaking of results, here are a few ways you can partner with your genetics to grow your hair to its fullest potential. Number one is, of course, length retention. Length retention is exactly how it sounds. As your hair is growing at its natural hair growth rate, you now have to retain that length. Let me explain it like this. If you grow half an inch of hair every month, then in 4 months, your hair should be 2 inches longer. If you have been retaining length, you've been keeping your hair moisturized, you've been treating your hair gently, you've been doing protective styles for those 4 months, then the likelihood that at the end of 4 months, your hair will be 2 inches longer is much higher. But if throughout these last 4 months, you've just been doing your hair anyhow, you've been combing your hair with a rat tail comb, your hair has been constantly dry, you've just been doing your hair anyhow, then as your hair is growing from the roots, it is breaking from the ends, or even worse, it is breaking from the middle. So you will not get to the end of those 4 months, and instead of your hair to be 2 inches longer, it is the same length, or worse, it is shorter. So that's essentially what length retention is, and it is actually very simple to do. Like I said, all you have to do is make sure that your hair is moisturized, because dryness is the mother of breakage. Okay, if your hair is dry, it's going to break. And then of course you have to be really gentle with your hair, especially when you are detangling or when you are taking down a protective style. And speaking of protective styles, of course you have to do protective styles, right? Because when your hair is in a protective style, you don't have to manipulate it too often. Because if my hair was in an afro now, I would have to band it or twist it or whatever, and then tomorrow morning I'm going to have to loosen all the bands and all the twists, fluff my hair. That's all that touching, and then tomorrow night again I'm going to have to reband or retwist, and then the next morning I have to unband and untwist, and then in the night I will reband and retwist. Like every morning and every night I'm touching my hair, and that is a lot of manipulation. But when my hair is in a style like this, I can literally just leave it alone, and it's just there, it's just growing, no touching, no detangling, no nothing. It's just doing its thing, So yeah, if you are a habitual protective styler, then you are retaining length. But it doesn't stop there. I know it sounds like a lot, but I actually broke this down in an earlier video where I was explaining length retention in like deep detail for anyone who's trying to grow longer and healthier hair in 2025. That video is above somewhere. I'm also going to link it in the description, and it will be in the end card, so don't worry, you're not gonna miss it. Okay, but essentially, yeah, like when you put your hair in a protective style, the mistake a lot of people make is that they just leave their hair in the protective style. Like they don't moisturize, they don't oil their scalp, they don't do anything, they don't maintain, they just put in a style and just my hair is growing. Keep your hair moisturized, treat your hair gently, and then do protective styles. Honestly, you will see amazing results. I mean, you'll see amazing results. Okay, truly, length retention is very easy once you know the steps, right? I know, like, as I'm explaining it, it's sounding like it's a lot of work, but it's really easy once you know the steps. Okay, so make sure you don't skip that video. It's in the description. It's gonna be in the end cards. Okay, another way you can partner with your genetics is to minimize hair loss. Like I said earlier in the video, your hair grows in cycles, and one of those cycles is the telogen phase, where the hair stops growing and is potentially shed, right? So you are already shedding about 100 to 200 hairs every day. Why in the world would you want to increase it more than that? So it's very important that you do your best to minimize hair loss. And a few ways you can do that is, number one, try and avoid tension when you're doing your hairstyles. Try and avoid tension when you're detangling. Just try and avoid too much like manipulation of the scalp and like tension on the scalp, because that tension, it can lead to traction alopecia, which is one form of hair loss that is such a pain. Please do not do it. It is very avoidable. Okay, so try and avoid tension on your scalp. Another way to minimize hair loss is to again manage your stress. Now I know that we are living in stressful times and it is very difficult to not be stressed out 24/7, but trust me, it is possible to at least find an hour of zen in your day. Try to look at the positive side of things. I know that this is not easy, honestly. Even me, sometimes I struggle with it. I struggle with, not stressing out about the future, not stressing about the economy, not stressing about inflation, not stressing about just life in general. But, just find like a hobby, a playlist, or a movie series or something that's just gonna calm you down for like an hour a day, just to take your mind off the world that we live in today, And there's also just generally taking care of yourself. One thing that I've noticed about hair growth is be patient, close your mind to it, have a very simple routine, have your few basic products that you use, and just leave it and let it grow. Because if you're constantly stressing about your hair, that is still stress. You're stressing yourself out about hair. Imagine stress being one of the major reasons why people experience hair loss, and then you are now stressing about hair. You're doing the one thing you're not supposed to be doing. So like, just stop stressing about your hair and just take care of yourself, because as you're taking care of yourself, you're indirectly taking care of your hair as well. Because if you eat healthy, all of those like healthy nutrients, all of those proteins and fiber and all those things, right, they get distributed around your body and they will definitely get to your hair, because your scalp, your head is part of the body, right? And then also, like, how they say when you massage your scalp, it increases blood flow to the scalp and it stimulates hair growth and all of that. You know what else increases blood flow? Exercise. So if you are just living a healthy, active lifestyle, I'm telling you, you're gonna be fine. The only thing that I think is up to you, that is very intentional and very important that you do if you want to see like longer hair, is that length retention, because that takes you having a routine, that takes you actually dealing with your hair, that takes you having your wash day, going to the salon or doing your hair yourself, whichever the case may be. So that's like one of the major things that's like really up to you. But everything else, like, it's just basically, if you just have a good life routine, you'll be fine when it comes to hair growth. You eat okay, not even necessarily like super healthy, like always eating fruits and vegetables. It's good, but it's not attainable for everybody. I can't remember the last time I ate a fruit. But like, I mean, if you just have a pretty okay lifestyle, right? You are generally healthy and you are alive, your hair is gonna grow. Okay, the hair growth part is happening. The only one now is that, are you managing your breakage? Are you retaining length? That's the one that is really within your control, that you can actually do to partner with your genetics and your metabolic body systems to see the best results. Okay, so I know that I have spoken, like, I had my notes and everything to kind of guide what I wanted to say, but I still feel like I spoke all over the place. But I hope this made sense, or this is making sense so far, because I still feel like I'm talking all over the place. This is just a topic that is very dear to my heart and I'm very passionate about. Like, I can talk about this for hours. Okay, I just really want to set the record straight that that magic hair growth oil that you're about to buy just might be a waste of money. Nothing is really super special about any one product. Shampoo cleans your hair and scalp. It washes your hair. Get a shampoo to wash your hair. Get a deep conditioner that conditions your hair. Get a leave-in conditioner for moisture, and then a scalp spray or a scalp serum or a scalp oil. Trust me, that is all you need. Okay, I mean, if you want to add anything else, you want to add like a DIY hair mask or whatever, you can add it, but those four basic things really, if you have those four, you can still get the same results. Also, it's very important that if all of a sudden, out of nowhere, your hair starts to shed a lot, you start to experience like serious hair loss, please go to a doctor. I actually compiled a list of some of the big issues that hair loss can be a symptom of. Some of that includes lupus, thyroid disease, PCOS, diabetes, and scalp infections like ringworm. Rosemary is not going to help you with PCOS. Clove is not going to help you with lupus. So please, if all of a sudden out of nowhere you start like noticing that your hair is falling out a lot more than it should, I think the doctor's office is the next thing, not the herb market. So to conclude, right, just do your best and leave the rest. Be patient. None of these people with really long hair that you're seeing on the internet grow their hair overnight. They will title their videos that way, but if you go back, if you move back, you see that they've been growing this hair for years. Even me, like right now, my hair is thick, it's longish, and but I've been growing this hair for almost 6 years now. Okay, like it's been a long time coming. I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but April 17, baby. April 17, my hair will be 6 years old. All right, it takes time. A lot of all these other influencers out there that have their hair down to tailbone length, it took years. Even like the really really fast ones like Sheun Okimi, so maybe she's one of those God's favorites that can grow more than half an inch a month, and maybe her anagen phase lasts for a really long time, who knows. But I know that when she had relaxed hair, her hair grew really long, and so it wasn't a shock to me when she switched to natural and her hair was growing really long really quickly as well. But even then, it still took her 3 years to get to where she is. And some people are looking at her hair length and think that they can achieve that in 6 months if they massage their scalp often enough or long enough every day, or if they use enough herbs in their hair care. It doesn't work that way. Okay, just do your best and leave the rest. Live your normal active lifestyle, like take a walk every now and again, eat proteins in like put meat on your rice, like live your normal life. Have a very simple hair care routine. I've been trying to film a week in my hair video for a long time, and then every time I attempt it I realize that it's just ridiculous, because I can have my wash day today and then put my hair in mini twist and I won't touch my hair for the next 10 days, because my hair retains moisture a lot. I can moisturize my hair today and I won't have to touch it for the next 7 to 10 days. So like, what would I even be doing in a week in my hair? It's just gonna be me coming and saying, hi, this is day 2, I ain't doing nothing to my hair. Hi, this is day 3, I'm not doing nothing to my hair. Hello, this is day 4, still doing nothing. This is day 5, doing nothing. Hello, day 6, still nothing. Hey, this is day 7, my hair is not dry, but I'm just gonna moisturize it for the sake of it because the week is ending and this is the last video. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Like, just do your best, leave the rest, and you will just be surprised how in 6 months your hair is not where it used to be. But if you're constantly stressing about your hair, then the stress is really not helping, as we have seen. Also, if you need any help at all whatsoever, I'll always be here. You can ask me any question in the comments. I'll be here to help you. I'll be here to guide you every step of the way. It really is that easy, honestly, to be a lazy natural, just growing hair without much effort, because it doesn't actually require much effort to grow hair, because it's something that happens naturally. Okay, so if you would like to learn more about length retention and how you can partner up with your genetics to grow that long and healthy hair that you've always been dreaming of, then this video right here is the one to watch. Okay, you don't want to miss it. It has all the tea, all the tips, all the products, the tools, the steps, everything that you need to know to retain length to the maximum is right here. Don't miss it. I'll see you there. Mwah.